Yeah. All right. Sending data. Sending data online. Boop boop beep boop 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 beep boop 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 beep boop boop. We're just waiting for Twitch, baby. Waiting for Twitch. Stupid Twitch. Twitch always takes the fucking longest. We love you, Twitch. Don't boot us. All right, we're up. All right. And just waiting on my co-host for the evening. Yeah, looks like we're doing another dynamic duo. These ones are good. I'm
The
Dan
duo.
Cohen. Yeah, there you are, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Dan. I'm Dan Cohen. I'm the Uber Jew, the Great American Hebrew. Uh, I'm joined by
Jen Gangles,
yep, joined by
self-hating capitalist.
fact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This all checks out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we have some housekeeping to attend to. Our longtime associate, who was on the very first episode of the Proper Sons of Trier podcast, which was an election episode that is lost to the SoundCloud somewhere, mostly because I forgot the login info for the account. Um, and I really need to, get that back. Um, has decided to part ways for the time being. He will return. It was not a hostile leave, but he's working to focus on other projects. He is currently working on a theory of everything for physics. He has a music project going that'll rival James Maynard Keenan in the prog rockosphere. And
James Maynard Keenan.
yes, and rumor has it that he's actually getting Pete Davidson kicked out for Kanye, but going to swoop in on that ass. So, here's hoping the best for our boy. So we're currently down. That's two sons who have functionally or actually. That's three now. Jesus, we drop like flies.
Oh,
Every yeah.
I apologize for actively attacking my co-hosts. I don't know what you want from
It
me.
it would have been nice if you hadn't hit him with a baseball bat and said his name was Mud.
Listen, I bought the plastic baseball bats. I figured it was going to be okay.
No, the aluminum bat was wrapped in plastic to protect the aluminum.
It's basically the same thing.
It's really not. As somebody whose professional job is to say what things are and aren't, I can tell you that's a big old aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, we all exist in the material plane, mostly. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But I did need to return the bat. Okay, so like it had to stay clean. I'm very poor. I don't know what you want from me.
If you'd quit buying cocaine, you would be less poor. But then I understand the problem you're going to raise, which is
Then I wouldn't have cocaine.
yes. So fair, but consider the alternative. Perhaps not always having to have cocaine would be better for you.
I don't know if crack is any better for me.
It's not. I did not take note that I suggested to maybe do less cocaine, and that was not an invitation to turn to crack cocaine.
That's I figure if I just, if I gauge myself as a black individual, I'm much more likely to be killed by the police and therefore won't need that cocaine after a statistically short period of time.
You're gonna how
Is that too dark? Is
I'm
that too
well, I'm afraid to know where this goes because it sounds to me like you're going to start trying to present as a black man but you're white, so that to achieve presenting as a black man
Hmm.
would
I'm just gonna buy crack.
would require you then to also have a black face.
Ooh, I don't know if I'm allowed to do that.
No, I would not recommend that.
Do I need a trip to the HR corner?
Um,
You know what? I'm gonna give myself a trip to the HR corner. Just disregard this one for now.
okay. We're gonna table that for the council then.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. That's swell. I would prefer that be the case. Did I ever tell you, as an aside, did I ever tell you what I tell all my newbies at work?
No, and I now desperately want to hear it.
Okay, it works something like this. All right. I stand in front of them, and you know my stature, right? I'm a big boy.
Hmm.
I stand in front of them, and I let them ask me questions, and they invariably, everybody always wants to know about the state of their employment, right? So I stand in
Right.
front of them around a big
I mean,
conference table.
I assume the state is adulthood, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So they always ask me, basically like how easy it is to get fired. We happen to be a union workplace. There are set rules. Of course, you can be fired for lack of performance. Anything that's going to hurt your other fellow workers is really not. It's counterproductive to keep you around if you're causing problems with the fellow workers, right? And productivity is one of those problems. You set them back, you make their job harder because they are meeting their deadlines and now they have additional deadlines. That's the theory work behind it. And
Right.
it's
That
been
makes sense.
yeah, it's been agreed upon. So I am generally speaking, since that has been struck, I don't argue
I
with it.
100% agree with all of that, with the sole exception of for me.
Yes. Well, a lot of people actually do. You have the same opinion. Fun fact.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. So they invariably ask, what gets you fired? And I always go with the spiel. If you bought me in the nose, you're going to be in the office. No getting around it. There's no way you spin that one. You're going to have a talk in the office if you bought me in the nose. You just get up out of your seat and you just punch me right in the fucking face. Right? But
Right.
then, and again, this isn't a thing I would say is unreasonable by any stretch. That's something certainly people can recognize might be not conducive to the work environment.
Yeah. I mean, I our work environment naturally, but
Right. Ours
most
is,
normal work ones.
yes, ours is an exception that proves the rule. We'll
I'm a
say.
very special boy, as you tell me all the time.
You're very special. You're my sweet. You are my water baby, buddy. So
Uh, so
I
that's a paddling,
that's
so
a
to speak.
paddling. Right.
What other things can I do to get myself a paddled?
I tell them if you decide to curse up and down at one of the customers, you just ream in with every slur you know, and I don't mean swear word, I mean slur. You just decide to tear into them.
We have a website for that.
Yes, we have a website for that. That's where you take that aggression out at. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
So I tell them, something like that'll get you. And I said, but there are banalities that'll get you in there too, and don't make me do my job.
Don't make me do my job.
I don't
Got it.
want to do it when it's this banal stuff, but I'll do it. Don't make me. That's what I always tell them. And
Interesting.
yeah, because of course I hold some modicum of power in that godforsaken shithole. And God, it's so depressing at times. But yeah, I hold some modicum of power, so I always tell them like, look, I'll do it if I have to. Don't make me. I don't want to do it. My hands are don't tie my hands up and then, I'm not really interested in it. I'm more interested in getting shit done.
Right.
That's all I'm worried about is walking in, filling out my reports, going home. Maybe I made somebody's life a little bit better thanks to the way that the government functions in a macro sense. Probably not. Because no matter what I do, nothing I do will trounce the power of the federal government, right?
Right.
Useless fucking boners. So yeah, that's what I always tell my new people. So right now I'm telling you, like, we can have an HR meeting if we need it.
But
Don't make me do
don't
don't
make you do your job.
don't make me do my job, Jank. Don't do this to me.
All right. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I can avoid causing this problem for you.
Okay, thank you. Actually, you know
Hmm.
what? Before we talk about the main event, right? The Ukraine
Yeah,
event.
the
Um,
Ukraine main event.
yeah, the Ukraine event. Ooh, I feel like we're dancing around the right one.
Yeah, it's close. We'll
It is.
figure that out.
We will. All right, so I'm gonna run a scenario by you, right? Because
Okay.
I'm told that, like John, you are a fair bit of an academic as it comes to this behavior, right?
Okay.
All right,
I'm ready.
I'm scrolling Twitter as I am wont to do to look for random fights or stupid jokes to drop off and maybe get noticed, right?
Hmm.
And somebody gets called a fucking commie, to which they retweet, hell yeah, at least you can read or something like that, you know. To which
Right.
I cite the counterfire of the very tepid, oh no, they called you a commie. Oh, Joe, it's the end of the world. They got your ass. You know, I get my likes.
If only someone knew.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Um. So I get in this wrestling match with the conservative, which is honestly like that, like more so than actual like hitting your kid. Like arguing with a conservative should be more considered like child abuse because they're not very well developmentally. Like they can't. This places where
There
adults
is
hang out.
there is an upper limit for age where it stops. It doesn't matter what the mental development is. Like you, there is a need. You know what we really need to be
Yeah.
doing is assigning government employees to work with them
Yes. This is how you tie your shoes.
and
This
be
is how you talk in
responsible
public.
for them.
This is what reading is.
This is how you not commit a genocide.
Yeah.
No, no, that's dangerously close to a Hitler, John. I
Uh,
need you to just dial it back.
Back it down, Bill. You just called for a Hitler.
Yeah.
Bill? Bill, we're at the grocery store, Bill. There's no reason to say that.
It's, you don't you don't need to call the clerk that. It's not appropriate. You don't know that they're from China. Yeah.
They're clearly Italian, so there's no point to say it's part of a Chinese conspiracy. Um,
Right.
Nothing in the title of that box of cereal has the N word on it, so you don't need to say that word. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I don't know what that word means, but it definitely sounds racist. Are you just adding the N words to the back of the things you see?
Yeah, you don't need to refer to canned soup as
It's a,
anything relating to the Jews.
as a tin B.
Yeah, tin beef. It's beep water. Campbell's chicken soup is just beep water. I hate it. Okay, you're allowed to hate it. Please go on hating it, but don't. Mm-mm. See how
Don't
you played
assign it
that?
that name, please.
Yeah, that's where. See, you see where your grandkids got mad at you? It was right then. That's when they got real mad at you. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do it
Uh,
again. I knew it. Yeah.
so you were trolling the tweeters.
Yes, I was trolling on the tweeters, and this guy's like, I just pointed out, I was like, I'm living rent free in your head because you keep coming back to this with a stupid GIF. So like, what it tells me is I'm living rent free there, and God, it's spacious. This is great.
Huh. Well, there's nothing else blocking it up. Although I will tell you
Yeah.
that you're definitely wrong, and it's definitely GIF.
Okay. Whatever. That's not a fight I'm actually interested in having with you. There's a lot of them, but that's not one of them. So I'm gonna move on from that and just declare you winner. You take that victory, pal.
It's a
Um.
Pyrrhic victory for sure.
Oh, so phallic. Um. So then I point. Then he's like, "I'm living rent free in your head." And then all I did was copy the original conversation and be like, "Bro, this is where it started. You found the urge to talk to me. You needed my attention. I didn't need yours." And suddenly, "Whatever, dude. You're just trying to fuck her. She's never gonna fuck you. Whatever." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" And not everything's sex. So explain this concept to me of what he thinks is going on, because I'm told you can.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I got this. So this is my regular ploy for attention from Spoonie.
Okay. From Coffee Spoonie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Famous coffee Spoonie. Uh, The trick here, right? If you are intentionally nice to a woman on the internet,
Uh-huh.
you can then leverage that nicety into fucking that woman in your mind. And this is a very simple process. It's called white knighting.
Okay, so he thinks I'm white knighting this person I've never met in reality,
Yes.
have no fantasies about being physically intimate with,
Yes.
and just my errant comment was some sort of Freudian desire just expressed.
Yes.
Okay, so that's funny.
Yeah, that is exactly what that is.
It's a,
And
it's
you know
amazing how
what?
pathetic they are.
As far as he's going, he is right.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, totally. He's right. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yeah, he can't possibly conceptualize anything past it. So, meh.
That's true. Even if I'm right, I can't win this argument because he's like he's like the one who's wandering around calling it K-word soup.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. He's got bigger problems. We really do need to assign like a long-term government worker to
Protect him.
maybe just yeah. I don't even know. There's so much work to do at the point where he's just walking around saying racist slurs soup.
Yeah. We can both agree he shouldn't be allowed to vote as a matter of protecting him and the public.
Probably.
Okay. Well, all right. As long as we agree on that point, which is the point I made, I was like, I wouldn't let people like you vote.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think if I defend Coffee Spoony enough, they will happily send me nudes? And
Uh,
do I want those?
do I think she'll send you nudes? No. She's a
Okay.
lesbian.
So maybe,
Maybe not.
but I've inserted 57 nice guy tokens.
Um, First off, where? Second off, where have you found an opportunity to place those tokens? Let's talk about that one. That's it. The rest of the episode. Where do you insert nice guy tokens into a lesbian?
It's wherever, honestly, anywhere that you can get them.
Anywhere that you can get them in. Okay, so I just want to be clear on how this was framed. We're gonna force an object inside of a woman.
All right. Listen, you're taking this too far. And by
I
you, I naturally mean the consequences of my own actions are coming back to bite me.
I've given. Oh no! Oh shit! Oh shit! Check the note. Never give Dan the opportunity. Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh shit! Oh fuck!
How'd you know I have that note on here?
Every everybody is issued that the first day they join the show.
Oh.
Yeah, you remember it came in your mailing package. Yeah,
Oh, that's right. That's why it's not in my handwriting. I was wondering about that.
yeah, and that's why it also has on there. You suck. A bunch of wieners. A couple of hammer and sickles.
No, no, no. I drew those on.
Yeah.
The wieners, not the hammer and sickles.
Oh, well, you added more wieners. Mine's the watermark ones.
No.
Yeah.
I thought it was tracing practice. You know, like whenever you're trying to learn how to do your letters.
Yeah.
Yo.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, chat here.
Mm.
Also, wait, my mom. My mom. Ah.
Walk the class through it.
No, I'm not walking the class through this one. That's fine. I'm just taking care of some union business, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah, UAW business going after Elon Musk. That's being buried right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So, that's
What do
suspect.
you think's being buried about that? I'm very curious.
The fact that it was happening, that the UAW has been organizing for this long,
Hmm.
they're going to a vote.
Are they?
Yeah, and Elon is pissed. He
In which of the companies?
Tesla. He had that look he gets when he's real mad, where he looks like a bird that's been staring in the sun for too long.
Hmm. Hmm. That's interesting. Oh, the United Auto Workers, the UAW. Okay, I gotcha. Um, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I was like, huh, I wonder if in a weird way this isn't like an attempt to like cover the fact that maybe Elon's factories aren't magical happy time places, but places of business where people are exploited for their labor.
Weird. That doesn't make any sense. Elon Musk is a god. I assume that only Oompa Loompas work in his factories. And I'm sure the Oompa Loompa labor is not exploitive at all.
Yeah, no. They're just, I mean, if he was really using Oompa Loompa labor and we work that through, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is pretty hideous because those were a captured population,
Yeah, they were.
and his excuse was no, they really love to work for no pay. Where the fuck have I heard that one before?
I'm going to take house elves for 500, Alex.
Yeah, house elves were fairly cringe. Oh,
Anyway,
I love how many things. You know what I do love about like magical media now and the overwhelming spread of anti-Semitism.
mhm.
I just absolutely love the fact that when you watch a piece of media, you can find like 9 different awful things that represent Jews, and you end up in a fight trying to figure out which ones are actually the Jews, right? Like
Is
go
it the
to
goblins? Is it the house elves? Why is this particular group of wizards really lecherous about money?
who is this? Who the hell? Who the fuck? Oh, okay. This is
Well, anyway,
yeah, I'm sorry. Twitter has me mildly distracted. Yeah, you got the house elves. Well, think of like Star Wars, right? Think of Star
yeah,
Wars. How many different Jews can you think of in the fucking whole movie set, right? You got the
Jawas
yeah, no, Jawas. Well, okay, Jawas, yes. Never mind, wrong.
a little
Jawas.
bit. They get some other sides too, but there's definitely a Romani feel to them to some extent.
Yeah, they're definitely Romani Jews. They're definitely both. Um, they clearly get their, they clearly the anti-Semitism is made in their trading and their insane theft, like their willingness to steal your stuff and then sell it right back to you at profit.
Hmm.
Like that's clearly
Hmm.
Jewish. Um, but like like the fact that they're traveling, the fact that they're dirty, right? That's where he's clearly like, oh, these are Romani. See, they're not Jews. Like
Right.
pulling a fast one there, Mr. Lucas. You got Gungans are clearly black, which is
Hmm.
weird because they have black people. So I don't know why they had to be coded as black. Like
Well,
I
it
guess
was difficult
Caribbean
at
black.
that point. Yeah, well, it was difficult at that point to get away with it.
Yeah.
This gives them a methodology of, escapism. They're not
Mm.
black, they're Gungan.
Yeah, they're
Duh.
y'all being real Gungan up in here.
Yes.
There were those little like that little race that the guy who ran the pod racing thing and had child slaves. Oh, that guy was
Oh,
Jewish. So
oh
Jewish.
yeah. Trandoshans.
Yeah, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mind
Trandoshans.
tricks don't work on me.
Yeah. You cannot make me pay retail.
Only money.
Only
Oh, you cannot make me pay
only at
retail.
cost. Only at cost you can make me pay, Jedi. Yeah, the Jedi are samurai Catholics.
Yes.
Yeah, so they got out of being Jews. But there's some interpretation you could be like they're just Kabbalah Jews, which isn't right. But like I can see why you might be led to believe that the Sith are clearly Jews. They're a small elite cabal looking to overthrow everybody
Hmm.
and global order in the name of their own hideous conquest. Um,
I don't know.
yeah, those are supposed to be those are coded as Jews.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I never considered that one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Rule of two, baby. There can only be two. There can only be two world leaders, two heads of that dragon, two heads of that coin. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Like the first Star Wars movie takes place after the Jews have won, and that's why the galaxy has to be saved
Ugh.
by the space Catholics, by the lost samurai space Catholics. The movie's fascinating. Okay, around these parts we have drag queen bingo. In the same way that I feel they are making a mockery of themselves for financial purposes, I find the marvelous Miss Maisel to be along the same lines of exploitation. Although I'm not of Jewish descent, so maybe it's proper for Jews to diss off themselves for profitability. Yeah, it is. We do that all the time. We're self-deprecating as a means of humor. Oh yeah, that's where I kind of miss John because that's 50% less. Aren't we silly jokes? Uh,
Yeah, it's a lot less. It's a lot less tactful whenever I'm like, "Aren't Jews silly?"
yeah. Well, you know, that's is that how you phrase it though? Because usually I feel like these effing K words stole my goddamn money again. They're ruining my country. Look what they're doing to Palestine.
I don't usually take that approach, but
Yeah,
I can definitely hear others taking that approach.
yeah, we're talking about the true horror right there. I mean,
Ugh.
you talk about somebody who needs to go to the HR corner, have a timeout between his manatee addiction
Now look,
and his treatment of the Jewish people.
what a man does in his own time with sea mammals is his own business.
Well, until the federal government says it's not, though.
Um, yeah, agree to disagree with the federal government.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna. You know what? I know. You can call me a traitor. You can call me a lib. I'm gonna say they were right on this one.
Lib.
So be it. On this issue, I will wear my liberalism with pride. Do not do what True has done to manatees. They don't love you like a person can love you, so don't do it.
Because they love you better than a person can love you,
No,
according to True. According to
no,
True,
no. They cannot.
I'm not getting this passed off on me.
Jank, I need you to hop over to the HR corner for just one moment. Come here, buddy. Come
I
here.
didn't want to go.
I know. Come here. It'll just take a second. Okay, you
All
hear?
right.
Yeah,
There's
close the
only
door.
two of us. All
Close
right.
the
Okay. Okay.
close the
Hang
door.
on.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, don't let the audience hear this, but the federal government is coming down on us hard, man. We have to
Hey.
say it like that. Stop. Stop. You're gonna get it fucking
Okay. I'll be good.
branding us as 70s porn still hasn't gotten us fucking canceled, but this one might, and I mean in the big way. All right?
Okay.
So
Okay. Okay.
stop. We have to
Should I
chill out.
triple down on my 70s porn stash then?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
I'm really loving it, by the way. Otherwise, you're doing great.
Okay. Okay.
Just this one thing, I need you to kind of get on board with this.
All right. Up the porn stash, down the manitash. I don't know. I thought I was going to come up with a clever rhyme there faster, but I didn't, and now it's all falling apart on me.
That's okay. All right, so we can go ahead and get out of the HR corner and get back to the episode.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, cool. Door's shut on that. Great. Anywho, though, the Australian government still has not stopped my operation of the walrus pits, so keep that in mind. That's still in play.
Interesting.
But you're not allowed to fuck the walruses. You just have to love them the way they deserve to be loved. Cuddled.
Okay.
Their big, beautiful, fleshy bodies. Their sensuous oils.
Biggie Smalls is playing tonight.
Biggie. Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah. No, you don't fuck the
Anyway,
walrus. You love the walrus. Love it.
let's
Yeah.
let's move on to the Ukraine event, I suppose.
Yeah, the Ukraine event. So, what's your read? 2 weeks in now. What's your read?
Uh,
You show me yours, and I'll show you mine, pal.
it's real bad. All parties involved still shitty.
This is
No one winning. It's really bad. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Russia's taken most of the north of the country. They've taken a decent chunk of the south, past Crimea, where they had originally had. Like, they're Ukraine is on the verge of effectively falling. Like, I don't know.
Effectively falling, not actually falling, but effectively.
Yeah,
Or
I
is it just that
mean,
they're falling down really well?
Yeah, the counterpoint that was sort of discussed here being that like there might come a point where Russia's just like I'm gonna just start blowing shit up. They have been.
Yeah, what's the difference between that and right now?
Yeah, I mean that where they're just like I don't care. It's gonna all burn. It's okay.
Yeah, that's very nice. You had a country here once. You had to put guns in it, didn't you? We told you not to, and then you did the thing.
But
Big
like obviously that's not the correct response that a country should have.
no, it's a two to tango situation, right? That's the way I'm seeing it. That's my read on it. So if you how far should we wind the clock back? Because they play a lot of tit for tat games. Oh, by the way, manatees are not fat bottom girls. They are beautiful, majestic sea creatures protected by the federal government using federal military force. So we must
Tit for
respect that.
tat, according to the HR department, has nothing to do with manatee's tits or tats.
Right. Please stop saying that.
I've been told repeatedly.
Yes, you have. And two more demerits gets you a demarcation on your record.
Ooh,
You don't want one of
spicy.
those.
What is the what is the exchange rate for shroot bucks to dollars?
Yeah. Um, yeah, my read on this situation is not very, very good, right? So the first thing I did was turn to what the country that is the clear belligerent said. And unfortunately, it's hard to, how do I put it best? It's hard not to have sympathy with the Russian position if you are a student of history to any degree, right? Because the situation is that if you go back to the fall of the wall, NATO made a treaty,
And this
and
language is very specific, actually. Let me back you up for 1 second here.
yeah,
The Russian position, not the Russian actions.
right, the Russian position. What brings them to this situation, not what they've done with it.
Right.
Um, that's of critical difference because condemnation should be routine and universal for the particular course of action they've chosen, which is wholesale slaughter and destruction, right? Let me be very clear
Right.
on that because I've already been accused of sucking Putin's cock, right? I've gotten that one thrown around a couple of times. Hey, is that Michael
Which
Jordan Peterson?
it is, in fact.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. It's a little stuffy though, like it's underwater.
Yeah, I'm trying some of my self headset from work.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to get it so I can listen over here. Just let me tinker. Keep going. Not to derail you.
Okay, you go ahead and tinker, right? So if we go back to NATO, if we go back to NATO, NATO made a bunch of promises about not continually expanding against Russia, allowing elections, providing financial aid to get back into the global market, and helping them find a niche post fall of the wall. Like it was supposed to be like an olive branch situation, to which the Russians rightly asked, "Do you even still need NATO then?" And they were like, well, I mean, it's already here. We already have it built. It kind of feels like a waste not to use it, but we just won't use it against you, barring you attacking NATO members, right? And they were like, okay, but what if we get into a conflict? And, NATO's grand response was, well, we won't extend NATO membership beyond what it currently is. So then they add the three Baltic states, who are right on Russia's northern borders. But this is under the era of Yeltsin, right? And Yeltsin was famous for being essentially a Russian drunk. He was not credited as being a very strong leader of Russia, and that's how the West preferred him, right? Kind of being this, essentially this oaf. Like I can remember as a small child, the jokes about Yeltsin being drunk being thrown around in our elementary school. Like that was a thing you mocked in a Western PA school of 30, right?
Right.
So he was a
They even know Yeltsin in that school is that small?
yeah, that's how much of a laughing stock Yeltsin was, right?
Oh, okay.
just to give you an example, like that was some of the funniest shit I could find when I was a kid watching cable TV in Western PA. It was Yeltsin jokes. Yeltsin was not viewed in a particularly favorable or good light by anybody. And then, of course, we have the elections that follow Yeltsin, which land with Putin, which causes the West concern. Putin was a KGB man. Uh, Putin had an understanding of politics and power that was not to their liking. Yeltsin was very happy to be catered to and allowed to get incredibly intoxicated in public and be a fuck up. Putin was not that guy, right?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not. So that was a cause for concern, to which, when Putin takes power, what draws a very sad mental image? I'm curious, chat. Fire that off while I'm continuing this screed here. So when Putin takes power, Putin has this kind of tepid pro-West stance, which is a bit of a surprise, right? And it's primarily because when you do an analysis of power in the immediate aftermath of the Cold War, the U.S. kind of wins. China is not the China we see today. China is forming into that, to be sure. Let me look when Xi Jinping was elected. If I remember right, that was still Deng Xiaoping was in charge, and Deng was more interested in a lot of cooperation and ending hostility, especially now that the Russians were gone. There's no logical ally, right? So it's just like, we may as well just go along to get along. Who gives a fuck? Let me look when he ascended power. Yeah, so Xi is this past decade. So we're still talking about like the early years, right? This is when Bush is there in power, and Bush won Putin's tiny limp cock. Yeah, I imagine he has a solid 4 inches of blue steel, so I wouldn't call it tiny. That sounds like a perfectly normal penis. Moving on from that statement, gonna go elsewhere. Also reading the gay shit. That sounds pretty hot. I mean, how many people are going to get to blow Vladimir Putin that aren't Russian ballerinas or actresses from Russia who are kind of forced to do it? Not everything is sex. Yeah, but blowing Putin kind of is, chat. Anywho, Bush won.
They went from blowing Putin to the other guy, the Ukrainian guy.
Yeah, blowing Zelensky. Oh shit, dude, they are ass up. They are face down, ass up for Zelensky. Jesus Christ. Got it.
Oh, it's so bad.
Gentlemen and ladies, uncock your pussies and assholes. You can stand down. Zelensky sucks. We're gonna get to him, right? So Putin's like got this tepid, like, yeah, maybe Russia could join NATO, and then there's really no reason for war in Europe ever, because we're all friends here, right? We're all making sure that Europe is secure, and between Russia and the United States, who the hell can fuck with us, right? Nobody's gonna actually try at that point because we're Russia and the United States. We're both really big countries with a lot of military power, right? We can, if we're friends, then there's literally nobody who can fuck with the world by proxy. We're just all winners here. To which Bush too called him homophobic slurs and told him he was going to blow him out of a fucking airplane, right? He was just going to blow up a fucking airplane with him in it, which Putin didn't take kindly to. Strange. I know.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's weird that wasn't well received in Russia. Shut up, you know. So
Yes.
as that decade drags on, you see in 2008, Bush announces that Georgia and Ukraine will be joining NATO.
Tomato.
Yeah, they'll be joining Tomato NATO. And Putin he pulls a fucking nutty. And he declares that there will not be NATO guns pointed at Russia. There will not be NATO guns in Georgia, which, hold on, let me remind myself of the geography of this Georgia nation. On the map here is literally on the land strait between Turkey and Russia. And not even in Europe, mind you. We're talking all the way through Turkey, northwest of Azerbaijan, just north of Armenia. That's all Russia, baby. Like, we're talking literally a giant chunk of Russia's border. I mean, not giant, Russia's fucking massive, but like that land bridge down into the Middle East, yeah, how about that's just NATO instead, and they're completely cut off from trade and cut off from the world, right? So Russia flips shit and says, if you try to turn that into NATO, I'll blow it the fuck up. To which Georgia said, bet. And then Putin did it. He blew Georgia the fuck up, right? And for a little while there, NATO was like, oh, geez, better not try that one again. So mind you, that's the beginning of the Obama era. So in 2012, Obama tries it again. He starts shipping guns and shit to Ukraine, right? To which Putin says, of course, we warned you once, motherfucker. We'll do it again. I don't know why you think we're playing. To which, Obama sends more guns. And then sure enough, we have the annexation of Crimea the following year, right?
I guess. Yep.
Yeah. So
Sounds about right for the timeline.
yeah. So when Putin says functionally, don't fucking pull this shit. Oh, that's gross, chat. When Putin says, functionally, if you do this, I'll blow it the fuck up. I don't know why people fucking presume anything else, because he's demonstrated it twice.
It's the U.S. politicians who say shit and don't mean shit.
Well, you have to be pretty used to a policy where that is the case, yes. I'll say it, but I won't do it, No, he fucking means it. So, now we come to 2019. 2019, the previous Ukrainian president says, we're pretty sure Russia's going to try to blow us the fuck up. Trump is in office. Trump says, LOL, that sounds like it sucks.
I'm really into Putin. Do you think
Yeah.
he'll blow me up?
Yeah, hoping he'll blow my mind, baby. Which fucking freaks out Ukraine really bad and forces Ukraine to the negotiating table. Sure enough, we ain't got no goddamn war, do we? But then 2020 hits and the election of Joe Biden occurs and the election of fucking Zelensky occurs. Zelensky makes the exact same pitch. We need guns because Russia's a coming. So, come 2021, we start quietly shipping guns. To which Vladimir fucking Putin is deathly interested in not happening, right? That's his entire pitch, that this will not happen to us again because we won't allow this to occur. It's his political life on the line, right? That's one of the reasons that basically Russians tolerate him, is that, like, it's not that he's going to restore the Soviet era, but it's like at least the West is off our shit because they're kind of scared of Putin actually doing what he says he's going to do. So the anti-Putinites, in between the amount of just sheer suppression they're under and the fact that Putin has a cadre of people who genuinely believe when Putin says, yeah, I'll just blow it the fuck up. I don't give a shit. I'll just do that. And he means it. That is a reassurance that they will not be destroyed under NATO fucking rockets, right?
Right.
That's one of his political angles that he's been very effective in. And he wins elections for two reasons. One, he fucking rigs them. Two, he makes a pitch for security that the Russians have not had since the Soviet Union existed, and it was literally impossible to blow them the fuck up. That's a hard sell. That's literally the pitch Americans make to each other. That's how we keep electing presidents, on the basis of who seems strong, right? So this isn't even an unfamiliar politic. So we come.
You're telling me emotional strongmen have a history of winning elections in some places?
Yeah.
Weird.
I know.
Can we stop that somehow?
If we were smarter.
I think I fucked up my soup.
Your K-word soup?
Yeah. If by soup you mean my national pride and some evidence of human
Right on
existence.
nationalism.
Yeah, can't we move beyond nationalism?
Sure, why not? It's all going well anyway.
Yeah. So, lo and be fucking hold. As it turns out, if you run to NATO to go get a bunch of guns to fight the Russians will attack. Now, the problem is the Russian strategy has not been about traditional Western imperialism. It is under Western imperialism, like the reason we invaded Iraq, the reason we invaded invaded Afghanistan was to secure material resources. We wanted to profit. Tried and true model. Go there, kill the civilians, make them make them not want to live anymore so that they'll just acquiesce to all of your demands and then take their stuff. None of it morally good by any stretch of the imagination.
It's been happening since Rome, baby.
It's been happening since Rome. In fact, Rome did it, generally speaking, Rome tried to show up and be like, see, you guys shouldn't have fought back. We have money. You can pay your taxes with this.
You're going to need this because we're going to require it.
Yeah, you're going to need a bunch of fucking taxes. Or excuse me, you're going to need a bunch of our fucking money because you're going to have to pay taxes. You don't want to pay those taxes because, whoo boy, you don't want to find out how it ends if you don't pay your taxes.
You ever heard of the Goths?
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, there's a reason for that.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Is that old school monetary theory?
Yeah. That actually is the original monetary theory. The reason you showed up and brought your money along with you while you were invading is so they could pay taxes to you. Because how are they going to pay their taxes in their stupid fucking currency that you don't recognize? That's like
Right.
a real thing. I'm not even joking. Like, that's a real thing. That's what Rome really did. Like, the first thing they did when they showed up was showed up with bags of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll teach you how to mint this, too. That way you can make your local currency. We have enough currency for the empire. Because we're expanding. You joined up. Thanks.
Now we just send weird looking banksters.
Yeah. Now we just send them.
We send Chase Manhattan.
Yeah, we send Chase Manhattan in a fuck ton of debt, and we're like, we own you now, and they're like, what does that mean? It's like, well, your property. You stop being people. But this isn't that. This is a different kind of defense theory that the West really doesn't have to employ because it has been in the driver's seat of violence for so long, right? It has been able to dictate the terms of violence for so very, very long. This is a type of war they're not entirely familiar with. I'll explain it as easily as I can. Imagine you and your neighbor are having a property fight, and
Already there.
the word milk. So you and your neighbor are having a property fight.
Yep. I hate that bastard.
You hate that son of a bitch so goddamn bad. Well, that son of a bitch,
Yep,
the reason
boy.
you hate him is because he keeps throwing his trash in his yard, right?
He does. God damn it. He keeps throwing his fucking trash in his yard.
He keeps throwing
God dang
around.
it, Bobby.
Now, on the surface, it's his yard. He can fuck it up however he wants, right?
No,
But-
because it's going to leach into my groundwater and it's going to be a threat to my democracy. Oh, wait. Hang on.
Right. Right.
Damn it.
So it is loading up, and the shit's blown over onto me. But if you made the rules of what constitutes property and what's yours, well, interestingly enough, if you were in control of both territories in a physical sense, you could dictate where that line is, couldn't you?
You know what? I'm already sick of this. I'm going to just burn down that fucking trash bin.
Oh, that's one way of handling the problem, isn't it? If I burn him out and run him out of his house, I don't have the problem of his house anymore, right?
That's right.
The other way to handle it is if I can't actually get him to leave his house, I can just simply move the line of where his property starts further back, right?
Yeah, that would help.
That would
If
help.
I had an extra 10 yards.
If I had an extra 10 yards or 200 miles, that would
One of
help
the two.
alleviate the problem. So they're not thinking of this in a conquest mode, right? They're not like, oh, I can't wait to plunder Ukraine. They don't give a shit what is under that dirt. That dirt could have diamonds. That dirt could have just fucking skeletons. That dirt could just be more worthless dirt, unlivable soil. It doesn't matter. That's not the end game here.
And as it stands right now, it is going to have a lot more skeletons.
Michael Jordan Peterson is the equivalent of Baba Booey.
Baba.
He's playing around with tech. And we're letting him play around with his tech. So yeah, the problem we're facing here is that they have decided to launch a Do you remember how America launched a pre-defensive war against Iraq?
Yeah, I remember that.
But it was
We
really,
needed to We needed to stop weapons of mass destruction that were definitely there for sure.
Yeah,
That's definitely a war crime.
right. Pre-defensive war, pre-cog defensive war is a war crime.
Listen, it is. It's not a war crime if no one's done it yet.
That's true. That's very true.
It's not a war crime the first time.
Well, it is a war crime. You're just breaking new territory.
Someone has to tell us it's a war crime first. God damn it.
Yeah, for real.
Otherwise, it doesn't count. That's how that works. I'm definitely right on this one.
Yeah. So what we're dealing with here is a pre-defensive war against NATO.
Hmm.
Because the presumption is that NATO, like it's done with every other fucking country it's wanted to invade,
Does
is eventually just going to physically attack Russia. So the solution to that problem is to pull a NATO move and preemptively defend yourself by pushing the physical parameters of a total war outside of the spectrum.
have we tried telling Putin that the Simpsons already did this?
No.
Set up a pre-war against NATO, I assume.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen season like 57 or whatever we're on yet.
36, and I stopped watching too. Actually, I finally broke and was like, no, I'm gonna let it die because it feels better if it's just in memoriam rather than an active thing that's being ruined by its longevity.
But I assume somewhere in there, they're fighting a war.
Oh, they fought a couple of wars in there, yeah. Oh yeah. But that's where this whole Ukrainian fucking situation starts, right? And if you look at the media reporting, like it doesn't take very much to see that like there's a propaganda engine in play. And there's two separate propaganda engines in play, right?
There's three.
What's the third?
There's Russia's propaganda engine.
Yeah, but theirs is pretty boring, isn't it? Oh, look at how everybody's mean to us. Oh, okay. Well, we heard that before. That's
I mean,
literally the pretext to all
it's
this.
definitely in play though.
Well, yeah, but it's not the interesting facet to talk about. The interesting facet to talk about right now is the Western end of it, right?
Sure.
Because that's the one we can actually affect. We can't really do much about fucking Russian state media.
Well, I'm not necessarily talking about the state media. I'm more talking about the interesting like psyops that they run. So like they're very effective, I think, in terms of influencing the way that the right in our country moves, mobilizes, and communicates. Like I think they've gotten good at it.
Kind of. I don't.
And I base that on the fact that a bunch of fucking Twitter numbers have been going down for Republicans in the past week while Russia's been on a media blackout for us.
I mean,
Get good scrubs.
Yeah, basically.
you figure the Republicans right now are in some kind of like defensive mode because they've done what mind you too. Okay, so like what are some of the bullshit stories I've seen? How Western media is how do they phrase it? How Western media shows a white bias. Right? So the narrative is that look at how much Western reporters are like surprised that this is happening in Ukraine and how terrible it is it's happening to a white nation.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of that. Of like,
well,
you never see this in Europe.
Yeah, you don't see this in Europe.
Except for all the times that Europe has fought fucking wars. They're about like a half step away from just being like, it's amazing that it's not brown people doing this.
Right. Well, the thing is this, right? So the way they report their bias is like these people are real victims and it's tragedy, whereas in the Middle East they're just used to perpetual suffering, and that the suffering is removed from the actions of any other actors, like it's something intuitive to their nature. But that's not. That's one way of interpreting what they're saying, right? But I think the proper way to interpret what they're saying is that our media apparatus is ill prepared to do what it does when brown people aren't involved because brown people are surplus population and it's okay if they get hurt. Right? That's the real undertone to US messaging is that the reason they're panicked is not because they have some great sympathy for whiteness per se. You see a poor white man get shot by the cops, they will bend over backwards to make sure authority is ass kissed properly to make that okay, right? So they don't really care about whiteness per se, but they do inherently. So they don't have a pro-white bias; they have an anti-brown body bias, very heavily, and they're not equipped to champion the need to war in this kind of a zone because there's no brown people there.
Right.
So this isn't like they're outside of their wheelhouse. Like this is not what it's for. This media is designed for mobilizing against brown bodies. These aren't brown bodies. They're not ready for this. They don't know how to fucking take it, right? Because I can
I
tell you
guess.
right now, if this were like I don't know, Israel versus Egypt, oh my god, NATO would be there. The messaging if Biden didn't send in NATO would be fucking absurd, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And people will go like, well, that's because they see Europe as more important. It's not really that. They just don't know. They don't know how to message there's a need to invade Europe. They don't have a mechanical means to do that. It's just not in their blood. Like if you can't hold a thought, you can't fucking manipulate that thought. This is a thought that can't cross into their heads. Like we have to shoot at white people, right? That's not what white people are for. Poor whites, sure, but how many poor whites are there in Ukraine? Just as proportionally speaking, as many as seen here. So
And whenever you're carpet bombing, you're definitely going to hit some not poor people too.
Yeah, they gotta like justify it by like pretending they're like super communists.
right. So they're ill equipped to even do this job. That's what has them panic. They're not ready for it because they have to they would have to start advocating for attacking white people, which is not what they're mechanically built to do. In any stretch of the imagination. So that's
I mean,
the
they let
first
them roll
problem.
up on the Capitol.
Yeah. Without so much as calling for NATO boots on the ground. And if you notice, they're not calling Biden weak for not putting boots on the ground. They just keep talking about how tough his sanctions are because they don't know how to call for it. They literally physically can't say the words. They don't know. They just don't know. So that's one of the shit narratives. The other two is the shit narrative of the timeline, right?
Right.
If you look at what was happening 3 weeks ago it was look at this terrifying Russian presence. The Russians are coming in any moment. We have to load them up with guns so the Ukrainians can defend themselves from these fucking mongrels at the border, right? That's functionally what they were saying. They could not bring themselves to say we need to commit NATO troops into Ukraine. They couldn't do that. That was off the table from the get-go. But they could say we need to load them up with guns because they know how to sell guns, right? If you're trained to sell guns, you can sell guns. Doesn't matter what the situation is, you know how to pitch gun sales. So
a hammer looks at all problems as a nail.
Exactly. So they were perfectly equipped to do that part of this bullshit, but they were not equipped to handle what came next, which was the actual invasion. So their media narrative quickly turned in that first week to, oh my God, look at this superstar ace pilot. He's just smoking all of Russia's Air Force. They won't have an Air Force in an hour because Ukrainian pilots are so good. We have, this paraplegic super soldier volunteer has murdered an entire Russian tank column. We have that Putin's forces are so inept, they're putting sugar in their own gas tank, right?
That's right.
They can't, the fucking Russians are so utterly incompetent. Ukraine will have this mopped up. We were worried for nothing. And then the cold reality of a fucking super or like a former or actual superpower set in.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, since the Russians aren't looking to take it and turn this into Afghanistan, which you could argue, that was John's argument that they were trying to turn this into a fucking Afghanistan version too. Russia learned, like, the thing is, Americans didn't learn from Vietnam, right? The Russians learned from Afghanistan. There's no point in trying to hold territory, so we're going to burn this sumbitch to the ground. Fuck you, NATO. They don't know how to deal with that, right? They're ill-equipped to deal with that because that's not a type of war they're fucking familiar with at all. Everybody, of course, wants to steal and accrue profit. We're all capitalists here, right? Now, the third narrative I think is absolute bullshit that is being produced is now all the people who've been invested in Russia, right? Oh, look at these traders. They're all invested in Russia. Look at these fucking, how could these terrible people be invested in Russia? Look what this has led to. To which I would, you know, uh, gleefully point out that as of 2 weeks ago, that was just called capitalism, right?
Hmm.
There's that's it. Like 2 weeks ago, like that was a thing everybody was doing. Why are you even fucking mentioning it?
Right.
But now, retroactively, in the moral panic phase, that maybe this is our fault, but we can't actually say, oh shit, this was our fault. In that phase of it now, it's look at all these people who've invested in Russia.
You mean to tell me that investing in every other country but yours has backfire issues?
Yeah. Oh shit.
No way. Profits.
But my profits. But my glorious profits. I need my profits.
Stocks go up.
Yeah, stonks go up. That was fine 2 weeks ago. What the fuck changed? You know, something that the libs were giddily doing with the conservatives. Yeah, my freedom line. Something that the conservatives and the liberals were giddily doing all through the 1990s. This was a perfectly acceptable practice. The 2000s, perfectly acceptable practice. During the Georgian War, perfectly acceptable practice. Post Crimea, perfectly acceptable practice. As of 2 weeks ago, suddenly everything that you did prior to what was not only socially acceptable, but in the 90s, hyper encouraged and pushed with generous fucking loan rates at the behest of the federal government, is now suddenly a moral crime, right?
Right.
You want to talk about repressed fucking guilt, my friend. So, you know, spare the fuck out of me on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
It's what it is. Like, conservatives have no fear of it, right? Conservatives are just like, they're giddy as shit. They love war. They don't really care against who. Like, they have,
Yeah, they're excited to watch the show.
yeah, this is just exciting TV
Wanted,
for
right?
them.
That's what they wanted from the beginning.
Yeah, they've how many of those boomers have been clamoring for war with Russia since they were like 5 years old? So
Almost all of them.
almost all of them, exactly. So like this is nothing they aren't equipped to emotionally handle. They're like I said, they're fucking giddy right now. This is like, oh shit, this is really happening. This is the thing we've always wanted. The
The
sweet
one
release.
thing.
That's what they didn't like.
Yeah, name me a war they haven't gotten off on. Name me a war where they can't bust. An age where robot. Is there no advancement in the ways of people in an age where robotics can give you a colonic? Well, the problem is, like, I'll explain that one this way. If your robot is programmed to be racist, it'll give really rude colonics to colored people. Because the robot, the machine, is always built with the ideology that built it.
Not always. They just nuke the ones that are actually accurate. So, like when the AI tried to analyze criminals and they came up with politicians
Yeah.
as a predictive thing.
And they're like, "Oh, I can't believe it got this so wrong."
Oh, this machine. This
Dot,
is
dot, dot.
these is totally not black people.
Can chat clarify? Can the robot be programmed to have a race, or can you program racism into a robot? Because the first one, obviously no. The second one, oh boy, can you. Whoo boy, can you program racism into a machine. As it turns out, it is brutally effective. It is the governing model of YouTube, funny enough. And if YouTube heard that, that's a fact. You know what you did.
We'd be banned.
Yeah,
Hey,
we'll be banned.
capitalism's a machine.
Capitalism's a super machine, and it's got, I don't know, the racist programming in there pretty well. I know that I'm a data science flunky. Can you program a robot to have a race? Not really. You can have it programmed to have racial sympathies, which is slightly different, and we'll call that treating people fairly, is to have a racial sympathy. But you can also and put into a robot to have a strong racial bias. No, more than stereotypes. I mean, if you let a robot start checking blood levels and shit like that, as you let it analyze facial features and you feed it phrenology data,
Digital phrenology.
yeah, you can program all sorts of wonderful things in there. Shit, the
The
Chinese are.
phrenology verse.
It is entirely true that the Chinese model is our best option for surviving into the next century, and it's also entirely true that we're going to have to bust up their desire to build anti-gay technology and their frighteningly effective builds of anti-gay technology. They've built the gay hunting robot.
The gay dick ripping robot.
Yeah, they've built the gay dick ripping robot. Like that's a real thing. They've built that. They will hunt. They are using it to hunt down gay people. Like China's not. China is both simultaneously our way out and got a lot of problems we're going to have to deal with in a substantive way, not in a kind of gloss over it way.
From one set of contradictions to the next.
Right. Right. We're nowhere near the utopia. Oh yeah, no, China has built anti-gay technology. Funny enough, you want to know what country wanted to license that? It's that country that just invaded Ukraine. They have real and substantive, really bad violence problems against gay people. Not good. It's a cringe look, friend.
Quick, somebody unleash Pussy Riot.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if the US started trying to buy anti-gay tech. If the Republicans are given a little bit more time, you'll see their rhetoric be violently anti-Chinese while they're buying up all the anti-gay technology from China.
No, that's not our style. They're not that smart.
Oh yeah.
They'd rather just throw a rock at them.
Yeah.
But now
The Bible's explained how to fix that problem.
yeah. I can guarantee you, my friend. I can guarantee you. You give the Republicans enough time, they will be gobbling up anti-gay technology from China, all while bitching about the Chinese anti-gay technology.
Yeah, can you believe how terrible these Chinese are inventing this
Wonderful software.
this powerful software?
Water, or like
Why
the-
can't Americans come up with such terrible software?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That I
they're
can buy it
supposed.
from
The Americans
American.
are supposed to steal my data, not the Chinese.
So that I could buy it from an American or disregard the American because it's too expensive and buy the Chinese bootleg regardless.
You wonderful.
But there should be an American alternative.
Yeah, there should be a American to my H hunting robot. Yeah, this isn't theory. So here's the premise behind the technology. They set out and they basically rounded up gay people. Yeah, the gay robot seekers. So what they did is they rounded up gay people, which is never a good way to start a sentence. And they began analyzing facial recognition data from all their wonderful cameras in their society and all the data they could just basically find for free on the internet, right? So they cross-referenced known homosexuals with people they suspected of being homosexuals. Which again, none of these sentences sound good at all, right?
Yeah, no one should be happy about these sentences.
Nobody should be pleased. So what they did is they kept running known homosexual faces through a face filter. And what they found is some like traits, right? Obviously, they found the classic butch woman stereotype, which represents like really not it's like not that many people, right? But essentially, short hair styled in a certain way, according to Chinese traditional conditions, right? That produces a homosexual. But for men, they found it's in the cheekbones. Gay people disproportionately either have easier to detect cheekbones or have like higher cheekbones.
Or statistically are more likely to contour.
Or statistically more likely to contour and make them more recognizable, right? So
Sounds right.
yeah, so with their myriad of cameras, what they do is they just look at while they're snapping 80 billion of your picture, they're essentially just comparing men's cheekbones to find the gays. which means like if you're an actor and you have to sculpt your face, but you're a perfectly heterosexual actor, like Mr.
That is
Jackson.
the most. That is the most low tech version of using high tech shit to do absolute bullshit.
That's right.
It's better
It's
than what
like brute
America
force
has.
the computer to do all this shit.
Yeah. It's a very
It's
high.
like you have this high tech solution in your hands, and you're just like, let's brute force it. Let's just kick in the door.
Well, we just keep pumping and pumping data until we find some kind of a correlation, and then we'll run with it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's anti-gay phrenology, is what it is, right? That's all this is. Which I've contested that liberalism
Right.
has no problem with phrenology. It loves phrenology. Um,
All they gotta do is check people's locations.
Look
App
at chat
usage.
history. I never met a gay man that wasn't chatting it up with another gay man.
well, I mean, they're already doing that though, so they got to be sneaky about that.
Sneaky about anything.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
gay
Yeah.
phrenology.
like I said, it's simultaneously true that China gives us our best way out of a lot of crises, but the solutions it offers to get out of those crises,
Not the best.
not good. Not good. We're gonna have to do better, as the libs like to say. Yeah. And no, it's not any
Do
of
better
that.
on your gay phrenology.
Get better. Do better, China, on gay phrenology, then we'll talk. I mean, again, there are certainly upsides to what they're trying to do. They're trying to not produce more Americans in the classic sense that we think of as Americans right now. And people would be like, oh, it sounds like genocide. It's like, look at your culture. Look how you behave. Tell me if the world needs more of this. The answer is no. So, again, it's not all bad. It's not all good. It's not all bad either. All right. And with that, I think it's safe to say we had what we could call an episode.
Sounds about right.
That sounds about right. I'm Dan Cohen. I was joined by Jank Engels and late but never least, Michael Jordan Peterson.
Michael Jordan Peterson. It's like the Ohio State. You got to say the whole thing.
The Michael Jordan Peterson. Well, thank you, Chad. I try. I try to be pretty insightful, and I appreciate your output. All right, y'all stay safe, don't die, and don't join any Ukrainian foreign legions.
Don't join the Ukrainian Foreign Legion. Don't join ISIS.
Anti-gay phrenology.
Yeah, anti-gay phrenology. Woo!
Ooh, can we try and patent that? I want to find the people who are anti-gay by measuring their cheekbones.
We can try. Thanks, Mitch.